Here are my 7 ways to free up your creativity. The first one is plan your panic. When you're feeling overwhelmed, pressured, or anxious about something that you know is going to happen or you're pretty sure is going to happen, it's a very difficult time to be creative. Instead, think about when you do really need to panic about it, to free up some time now to be creative about how you might crack that challenge or problem that's on the horizon. So maybe you need to panic about it next week, but today, free up your head to play around with some ideas and see if you can crack it so that that problem's not such a big thing looming. The next part is maybe you want to be creative with somebody else or with a team of people to bring in some diversity of thinking. So how do you get them involved? First thing you need to do is give to get. So have a think about how often you're giving your time for other people when they need to creatively brainstorm or play around with a problem. The more time you give, the more likely they are to give some time back to you. My rule of thumb is 2 times out of 10 is when you'll get something back. So you do need to give quite a few times to get something back. And the next thing is to think about what's in it for them. It's very easy to say, oh, the project needs this or I need that, but flip it on its head. How did they benefit from being involved in the session that you want to run or the thinking that you want to play around with? Flip it on its head. Explain to them how they can benefit. If there's no way they can benefit, then they're very unlikely to get involved. If you're trying to crack a problem on your own, then the answer isn't sat at your desk staring at your computer screen. You need to do something to change your perspective. What you need to do is get moving. And so I work out my problems. I take my problems with me on a workout and exercise with them and stretch my body as well as stretch my brain. Another way I do this is to run with rather than away from my problems. So run with your problems. I'll take one single challenge and I'll have that in my head whilst I go for a run without any noise, any distraction, just playing around with that idea, letting it mull around and allow myself to start making some connections that I hadn't perhaps thought of before. Connected to that, some people tell me that they feel bad about catching up with a friend or taking some time off for a lunch or doing something away from their work. Well, I promise you that time off is time on. The brain is awesome and it will carry on enabling the connections, making connections that you can't force by just sitting there and thinking and thinking and thinking. So taking some time off will enable your brain to make those connections. So time off is time on. My final one is get creative about being creative. A meeting isn't going to give you some creative spark. You need to design an experience and a series of experiences that enable you to explore a challenge or a problem from different angles and get different perspectives. So spend some time thinking about what stimulus and ideas and activities that you can do, focusing on that problem to really unlock your creativity and to play with the ideas that you need. Here are my 7 ways to free up your creativity. Plan your panic to free up some time to be creative. Give to get. If you want people involved, you need to give some of your time to some other people on their creative challenges. Be clear what's in it for them. It's not just about you and it's not just the project. They need to know why it's worth their time to get engaged. Work out with your problems. Don't just sit at the desk trying to rack your brains for a solution. Move your body and that will help move your brain. Or run with your problems rather than run away from them. Take them with you on some exercise, on a run or a walk, and explore how those ideas can gel. Time off is time on. So take some time away from just trying to crack through the problems, free up your head. And finally, get creative about being creative.